All right, folks, what is up? Welcome back to J Talks episode 37. I had to restart the chat. Now I could see the chat from here. I don't know why it does that shit. I apologize for that. But thank you for all the support lately. I'm by myself, as you could tell. I'm saying it once again. I'm basically starting from the top. I'm solo today. All my friends are busy. It's all good, though. Welcome to another live podcast. I'm giving it another shot. It seems like a couple of you guys enjoyed it. And I enjoyed speaking to the guys that did make it on the chat. Appreciate it. I enjoyed speaking to you guys. So that's why I'm doing another live J Talks podcast. So I'm going to take it from the top. I'm restarting this live stream because I couldn't see the chat for whatever reason. But I'm gonna talk about the same thing I was talking about because that other live stream's gone. So Naruto topics. So if you guys have any Naruto topics, let me know in the comments. In the chat, and I will answer them. But if not, I'll be moving forward with the topics that I have for you guys here today. So, casual fans of Naruto, right? There's a lot of casual fans out there that give false information on Naruto. It's blatantly false. You can almost confirm that it's false, right? Because they just don't seem to know enough or care to know enough about the Naruto anime, manga, right? The data books, all that stuff. So, as you guys know, this week and last week, I reacted to Swag's videos of him debunking some pretty bad lists that concerned Naruto and Sasuke. They basically are the 15 characters stronger than Naruto, and then the 20 characters stronger than Sasuke. What's the funny thing? They were both on each other's lists. So the person who made this list, Screen Rant, I think, put the other on, Sasuke on Naruto's list and Naruto on Sasuke's list. That just shows carelessness, or maybe the person was just trolling. Who knows? It was pretty bad, pretty sad, and it either had to be trolling or the person really just didn't care while making that list. The reasoning for why he had some of those characters on there were awful. Like Kakashi was on Sasuke's list, right? He says like Kakashi could be adult Sasuke. Like, that's not true. And he said only because he's a good leader. That doesn't mean shit. Who cares if he's a good leader? It doesn't mean anything, right? Uruka is a great teacher. It doesn't mean he's fucking beating Naruto. Like, come on, man. That's just blatantly false. What's going on, Thomas? How would Jake Paul be in the UFC? He'd get absolutely fucked up. He'd probably be a welterweight and he'd get fucked up. Kamaru Usman would fuck his ass up. Jake Paul, props to him for doing what he's doing. He's doing his thing in boxing. He's fighting a real fighter this time. Not to say Ben Askren wasn't, but he wasn't a striker. He was pretty atrocious, to be quite honest. So Jake would get destroyed in the UFC. That's the MLB of MMA. So he'd have a better shot starting out in like a lower tier organization of MMA, right? So that's my opinion on that. But continuing on, thanks for the question, by the way. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. Jake Paul on YouTube's are ruining boxing. What's going on, Joe? Thanks for coming in. My opinion on that, there's a dichotomy there because let's be honest, him and Logan have brought, and YouTubers and TikTokers in general have brought business to boxing. Money is coming in, it's flowing in. But yes, I agree. On the other hand, it's ruining the legitimacy of the sport. You have these fucking TikTokers making more money than real boxers. That's pretty bad. But at the end of the day, that's business, right? That's business. Business will always boom when people want to see what they want to see. And there's a big audience for YouTube. There's a big audience for TikTok. Apparently, I don't fuck with TikTok at all, to be honest. But there's kids, there's young adults and young children that fuck with it. So I mean, it is what it is, But appreciate the question, by the way. If you guys have any others, let me know. But continuing on, I'm still on the Naruto stuff, but I'll answer any of your questions. Moving on, Obito Uchiha within the Naruto universe. All right. I believe he's very underrated, very disrespected, and kind of glossed over. He's one of the most powerful shinobi in the Naruto verse, right? But it's kind of just glossed over. He's not respected the way I think he should be, right? By the fourth grade ninja war, he was a monster, right? He was a monster, keeping up with Kakashi, Guy, and KCM2 Naruto pretty easily. The only reason why he lost is because Kakashi had a Kamui, and Kakashi's intelligent himself. But he's never put on the top lists, I feel like, at least by casuals, as far as the most powerful shinobi. He's not put up there. He's kind of glossed over. He's not really respected. Everyone fucks with Madara. Everyone fucks with Itachi, and Sasuke, but they don't give Obito the respect that he deserves. It's quite sad. It's quite sad that that's the case. But there's a lot of characters I think that deserve respect, or at least more respect than they have been given by the Naruto fandom. And this just goes back to the casuals. There's a lot of casuals out there that don't know what they're talking about when it comes to Naruto. And this is just a lesson for anything. There's a lot of casuals in a lot of things: boxing, UFC, anime, fucking anything. They think they know what they're talking about. They don't. They don't do their research. They follow the crowd. And that's just crowd mentality, crowd mentality. And you got to become an independent thinker. That's how you become good at something. That's how you learn a lot, when you don't let the crowd sway you. Because to be honest, a lot of the time the crowd isn't always right. That's just reality. That's why we need freedom of expression. We need independent thought. And that's just the way it is. So next up, since none of you see that I'm questioning right now. But by the way, like I said, if you guys have any questions, it doesn't have to be Naruto. We got a couple guys asking about boxing. I'll answer that too. I'm moving on as long as there's no questions. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. Like I said. All right, next up, Minato. All right, so Minato Namikaze, one of my favorite characters. As you guys know that follow my channel, I did a video on Minato versus Hashirama by Swakage. And they kind of just really illuminated on the kind of shinobi that it really is. His speed is phenomenal. He's a light timer. You can even debate he can move at this. He can react to the speed of light and move at the speed of light with his flying Raijin. Minato is just one of those hacked characters, right? And that's something about Naruto that really changes these versus matches. Now, don't get me wrong. I still think Hashirama beats Minato, but Minato has some things up his sleeve that could probably help him win in some battles that he probably shouldn't be winning. Could he beat Hashirama? Possibly. Would he beat him in most cases? No. I'm not saying he would. Minato with his flying Raijin, can beat a lot of people. And if he's quick enough at ceiling, if we make the argument that he moves at light speed, which is a pretty outlandish argument. Well, not outlandish, but it's a crazy argument. He could seal a lot of people. I've seen people make the case that he could beat the Akatsuki one-on-one, that him against the Akatsuki he could win, which is quite crazy. But someone made an argument. It was a pretty good argument. He said that he'd blitz them and kill them all because he's just too fast for them, right? But then I could argue against that, right? Because Killer B reacted to Minato when he almost killed the fourth Hokage. Kisame beat Killer B, so hence he's light speed. If you're using that argument, right? So yeah, Minato is just one of those crazy characters that I've been thinking a lot about, and Hack's abilities are definitely something that really changed the landscape of anime debates. And if you know what you're doing, if you really dig deep into the anime and the mangas, you can come up with some pretty wacky, crazy arguments for people like Minato, for people like Itachi, people with Hack's abilities. So I just wanted to kind of glance over that. Now, last up, if you guys don't have any other questions, fights I wished could have happened in Naruto. I'm sure there's plenty that you guys can think of. Let me know if you guys are watching. What Naruto fights do you wish could have happened? So I have a few, right? One of them is Sasori versus Orochimaru, right? Because they both had a common person, and they have a person in common interest. They had Kabuto. Kabuto was apparently a undercover person for Sasori, but let's be honest, that wasn't the case. He was Orochimaru's right-hand man. They didn't like each other. They didn't mess with each other. I wish we could have seen that battle. I know we saw it in a video game, but I mean, in the anime and the manga, to my knowledge, I don't think we ever saw it. That would have been a good battle to see. That would be a tough matchup for both, right? They both have some crazy skill sets. Orochimaru is as durable as they come, while Sasori has many, many tools, including his poison. Now, would it kill Orochimaru? Who knows? Maybe he'd shed and it wouldn't. Who knows? Fucking this guy has some crazy hacks abilities. Going back to the hacks ability thing, I think I'd go with Orochimaru on that one though. But that's one of the battles I wish that really could have happened in Naruto. Another one would probably be, I'm trying to think this through, Minato versus Itachi. Now, if you guys watched my debate, which I posted yesterday, we did Minato versus Itachi. That's one I really wish we could have seen. They're both hacks to characters with some one-shot abilities, right? The Tsukuyomi of Itachi and the flying Raijin and sealing techniques of Minato. That would have been an interesting battle. I think Minato would have won. If you want to see why, I did a debate on that. It's up right now. If you guys want to see that, I think I made a pretty good argument on why I think Minato would win. That's another one I would want to see. Now, one more that I wish we could have seen. I'm trying to think this through. Maybe Guy. Let's see. Maybe Guy versus an Akatsuki member besides Kisame. Maybe like a Kakazu versus Guy. That would be nice to see Taijutsu exchange. There's just a lot of fights the bottom line is a lot of fights I wish we could have seen in the Naruto fandom, you know. But yeah, that's my Naruto topics, guys. I kind of went through it quickly. There's no questions. Now moving on to the UFC. All right, moving on to the UFC. If you guys have any UFC questions, let me know. I already had a couple. And once again, if you guys have any other questions about anything, I'll answer them. UFC, all right. Now UFC 264. Kimura, what's going on? Kimura, favorite current fighter in each division. All right, so there's a few divisions. I'm gonna start from flyweight. Flyweight, obviously Brandon Moreno, right? Obviously, easily. Bantamweight, probably Peter Yan. He should be the champion. I mean, he did that illegal knee, which is bullshit, but he's my favorite fighter. What's next up? Featherweight, Max Holloway, easily. I don't have to explain that one. Lightweight, probably Dustin Poirier, either him or the current champion Oliveira. So one of them, you could choose. 170. I probably got either Usman or Masvidal. I like Masvidal. He's a very, very business savvy guy. You know, he's a very cool dude. And Usman's just a monster. He seems to be getting better every fight, to be quite honest. Now 185, Adesanya, right? I mean, if you guys see my videos, you guys know I love Adesanya. Best striker in the UFC, hands down. 205. The one guy that beat Dominic Reyes, I forgot his name. He has a weird name. But the guy that beat Dominic Reyes, he's probably my favorite fighter with that nasty elbow. It's quite impressive. Who knows? Maybe he'll give Jan some trouble. We don't know. We'll find out. So that's probably my favorite fighter. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the chat. Yeah, that's him. Jiri. He's a monster. Very impressive. Now, heavyweight. Francis Ngannou. I mean, this guy hits like a fucking truck. He is a monster, right? So yeah, that's probably my favorite fighters in each division. So moving on to UFC 264 predictions. We got a quite the fight card here, all right? So we got Sean O'Malley facing some guy I don't know. His name is Luis Smolka, I think. Lois Smolka. Sean O'Malley did come off a win against another guy. He knocked him out. He had that one weird fight against Cheeto. I think he would have won that fight if it weren't for his foot. But I'm not taking anything away from Cheeto. Sean O'Malley has potential. You know, I think they're slowly building him up, maybe a little too slow, in my opinion. I think he has the potential to be a champion, and I think he can really challenge Peter Yan. I know fucking Aljamain is the champ right now. I know that, but it should be Peter Yan. Peter Yan's going to be Aljamain. I'm pretty sure of it. He's more explosive. He's quicker to the, you know, he gets there quicker than Aljamain, and he's very powerful for his division. So I think Sean is one of those guys that can really challenge him. You know, there's some couple other guys, Dillashaw, Cody Sandhagen, excuse me. But that should be exciting. I think Sean, once again, will put on a show and knock out whoever he's fighting. I think he just has that gift, similar to Conor at the beginning of his career. Next up, Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy is an interesting guy. He has real power. Now, he seems to not be able to beat the best guys. He lost to Volkov, right? He lost to Volkov. But he's facing Tai Tuivasa, hard hitter, great boxer, has good hands, great power, like I said. That's a tough test for Greg Hardy. If Greg Hardy can beat him, then we gotta be put on notice. We should be put on notice with Greg Hardy if he can beat Tai Tuivasa. You know, Tai, I think, had a couple losses, a couple wins, I believe. If I'm mistaken, let me know. But he's a good fighter, and that's a good test. Now, Wonder Boy versus Gilbert Burns, and this fight is very exciting. Wonder Boy is a master, obviously, at striking. You know, it's going to be very exciting to see what he does against a killer in Gilbert Burns, who, I don't think can be champion. I don't think anyone can be champion right now with Usman holding that belt. The only guy I see having a shot is Colby Covington. You know, Colby Covington gave Usman a tough fight. Sorry, I yawned. I know Usman's even better, but we don't know what Colby's capable of now either. I know he hasn't fought in a while. I think his last fight was his win over Woodley. I believe that wasn't Woodley's last fight, but he destroyed Woodley, beat his ass. So that's that. I hope that happens. I wonder if any of you know what's going on with that. Let me know with the Colby and Usman fight. But going back to Gilbert and Wonder Boy, that should be exciting. It should be technical, and I think it's going to end by a finish. I don't know who's going to win. I don't really have a prediction for that, but that's going to be very, very interesting. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting to see what takes place. Now, the main fucking event, Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor, man. There's a lot on the line for this fight. Both legacies are on the line. Connor's, I can't say a superstardom is on the line because we don't. He will always be a superstar. Conor McGregor will always be a superstar. But if he doesn't win this fight, I don't think he will ever be a champion again. That's my opinion. I think he'll be another Nate Diaz. To be honest with you, he'll be a prize fighter, and he'll always be a favorite. Conor McGregor will always be a fan favorite. He will always have Ireland behind him, and Dustin will fight for the belt. I think Dustin wins this fight. I think Dustin Poirier will win this fight. I think he'll finish Conor once again. I don't think Conor's hungry anymore. He really doesn't seem to care in my eyes. After that loss, he really didn't seem to care like the way he used to care. So I think Conor will I think Conor will be defeated once again. And here's the thing: I think Conor has a shot, though. He has real power. He has real skill. He did hurt Dustin in the first round. I had him winning the first round in the rematch. What's going on, Tub Boy Face? Appreciate you coming in, man. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for everyone who came in. All right, now I'm talking about UFC, but like I said, you can talk about anything you want. Any questions I will answer. But right now I'm talking about Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. Like I was saying, Dustin Poirier, I think, is the best lightweight in the world. No disrespect to Charles Oliveira. That fight will be crazy. But Dustin Poirier is himself a black belt. I think he's a better striker than Charles. I also think he has better power than Charles. I think that's what's going to happen after Dustin defeats Conor. I think Conor will lose this fight and kind of disappear. He will always be a superstar, always. But he won't be someone we talk about in the record books as one of the greats. That's just my opinion. Now, I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. Conor McGregor is one of the greatest featherweights of all time. One of the greatest. Top 5, top 3, arguably, featherweights ever. I can't put him on number 1 because he never defended his title. He never defended any title for that matter. So I just don't have him as an all-time great, at least like top 10. I don't have him up there. And that's my opinion. If you disagree, let me know in the comments or in the chat. But yeah, there's a lot on the line. And I think Dustin gets this done. He will get this done. Now, next big topic, and this is shocking. Francis Ngannou and manager have dispute with Dana White, right? With there being an interim title heavyweight fight between Derek Lewis and Cyril Gane. That's big news, man. That's big, right? Because Derek and Francis were supposed to face each other, and now it's not happening. It's not happening now. That's really shocking to me. Apparently, Dana White had this in mind. Yeah, Francis is very upset. You can see his tweets on Twitter, very upset about it. It's quite shocking why this is taking place. I don't understand. What's going on, Gleam Eyes? We're talking about UFC, but feel free to ask about either one. I'll answer any questions. It can be not about either one. I'll still answer your questions. That's why I'm doing a live podcast to talk with you folks. I thoroughly enjoyed the first time. So any questions about anything, let me know if you have any. But going back to Francis here, I really thought he was going to fight Derek Lewis. I thought it was set in stone, to be quite honest. But then I woke up to this news. It's quite shocking. Cyril Gane just won against Volkov, in an impressive fashion. Derek is a monster, as we all know. Had a shit fight with Francis the first time. It was fucking embarrassing. I think Francis was not in the right headspace in that fight. John Jones is still in the back burner. Who knows what's going on with him? I know he's putting on the weight. I don't know what the hell's going on. I really wish he'd fucking fight Francis already, to be quite honest, so that this fucking interim title wouldn't mean shit, But Francis Ngannou, he's got to wait now. He's going to have to wait. Derek Lewis versus Cyril Gane, I guess, is cool. I'm sure there's a lot of fans out there like, what the hell's going on? The heavyweight division, excuse me, I'm yawning. The heavyweight division, I keep fucking yawning, has been in a weird place ever since Francis has won, right? There's a super fight with John Jones, Derek Lewis there, Cyril Gane making his rise undefeated in the heavyweight division. And now we get hit with this bullshit with this interim title. Dana has said that the manager, the agent of Francis knew about it. The manager or the agent said that's not true. He didn't know. And they've been talking shit on Twitter. Dana White is a very prideful man. He likes to be in control, which is the reason why we'll never get to YouTuber UFC fighter fights, because he will never allow it. I kind of agree with him on that. Don't tarnish the sport by putting these fucking YouTubers against UFC fighters. But he is a power-hungry man. But hey, it's the reason why the UFC is where it is, to be quite honest with you. But we'll see where that goes, man. I have Derek Lewis winning this fight. I think he'll knock out Gane.
No disrespect to Gon, but I think Derek's a beast. If he learns how to wrestle, it's over, man. Even Francis will be in trouble at that point. But yeah, that's quite crazy, and I can't wait to see what happens with this. I hope John Jones fights soon. That's what I'm hoping for. But moving on, and this is new news that I just learned. Alexander Gustafsson will be fighting Paul Craig. So Paul Craig's the guy that broke that guy's arm in the last one. You guys know who I'm talking about. Hill's arm. He broke his fucking arm, or actually didn't break it. He dislocated his arm. It actually wasn't broken, which I learned recently. Alexander Gustafsson will be fighting him in September at light heavyweight. That's interesting. You know, it's always a pleasure to see Alex fight. He is one of the best light heavyweights ever, one of the best fighters ever, and probably would be the best light heavyweight if DC and John Jones weren't there, right? Probably be the best. He'd probably be the champ. But we'll see what he has to offer. You know, I feel like he's not all in it. You know, there was a time that he retired saying, I'm not a journeyman anymore. We saw him have that fight at heavyweight against Fabricio, lost that. Naruto cosplay UFC tournament. That's a good idea. It's a good idea. By the way, I have both games. I have Naruto Ninja Storm 4, and I also have UFC. So who knows? If you guys would want the kind of video like that, I'll do it. Definitely. I fuck with both. I fuck with UFC 2 more. UFC 4 is kind of shitty. You know, I'm not going to lie. The game was kind of ass. UFC 2 is just better to me. It's more realistic, you know. But that's a good idea. But yeah, Alexander Gustafsson, I don't know what to expect from him, man. Who knows? I think he either wins in great fashion or he loses in bad fashion. That's my opinion on the fight, to be honest. Now, this is the last piece of news I have on UFC. And I thought it was just relevant enough to bring up. Now, Paige Van Zandt, you know, the baddie, Paige Van Zandt, you know, she's not in the UFC. I know that she got cut or whatever. She's in bare knuckle boxing, right? She said that she makes more money in 1 month on her fan site, right? The fan site, than she ever did for a UFC fight or a bare knuckle fight. Now, this just displays the way the fighters are underpaid. All right. Now shout out to Paige for doing her thing. You know, she's a fine ass woman. I mean, we got to say how it is, and she's earning her money. Good for her. She will be fighting Rachel Ostovich, right? Another baddie in bare knuckle boxing. So that's interesting. But that just goes to show you, man, that fighters don't make enough in this game. You know, now I know she's a popular, fighter, and that's why she makes the money she does on those fan sites and stuff. But fighters deserve to be more paid, especially in the UFC, man. Like, especially the higher tier fighters. You know, some of them are really, they fight to win a bonus because they don't earn enough money. That's fucking bonkers and bullshit to me. They should earn the money that they deserve. UFC is just different, right? It's different from boxing. Boxing, there's more money. That's just reality. Females, bare knuckle baddies, definitely. There's some bad. Those are probably the finest women in MMA right now. Rachel and Paige are fine as hell. They're fighting. Good for them. They both have fan sites, actually. So good for them. They're probably earning their money. I don't blame them. You know, if you got an extra way to make profit, go ahead. Go ahead and do that. So, hey, guys, that's my UFC segment. All right, Tuba Face. I don't want to take you off. No, it's fine. You can ask me whatever you want. But I have an interesting versus battle. The third rate Kage with Master of the 8 Inner Gates versus the same moderator that guy Sensei fought. Who wins? That's an interesting matchup to Tuba Boy. Now, the third rate Kage. And if the red Kage at gate, who do you think he wins? Now the one against the one that fought Guy, right? He's almost indestructible. I mean, Guy with his full power couldn't kill him. Now the red Kage, right? He has his lightning cloak, but I think it's fair to say that wouldn't be much of a threat against Madara. I think Madara can hurt anyone almost. Now, I still think the Red Kage would lose. I think Madara's in a whole different tier. Now, I don't take any credit away from 8 Gates Guy. He did severely injure, Madara. He severely injured him. Now, if the Red Kage had the 8 Inner Gates, on top of his power, I'll say this, it might kill Madara, maybe. But then again, it might not. That's a tough one because Red Kage is already very powerful. But then again, he lost to Sage Mode Naruto. Sage Mode Naruto was able to pretty easily react to the third rate Kage. Now, don't get me wrong, the 8 Inner Gates will make him quite a bit faster. I got to keep that in mind, right? That's a tough one. Maybe his strongest attack, if he lands it, would hurt Madara. Would it kill him? That's a stretch. I don't know about that because I don't think the third Raikage with 8 gates would be even six path amped Naruto. I don't think it'd even beat him, to be honest. I think once you get to six path level, it's a whole different tier. It's like separate from any other ability. This is my opinion. You get into the Otsutsuki tier, you get into God tier. You know, once you get to six path, you're in a God tier. You know, Hagoromo is literally a god. You know, Kage is literally a god. So I think he'd probably lose, and by himself, yeah, he'd definitely probably lose because he wouldn't have, you know, Minato's help or anybody's help. The true seeking orbs would probably, you know, kill him. So yeah, and this one-eyed, no god tree amp, one limbo Madara. Yeah, I still think he'd probably lose. The true seeking orbs would be problematic. Um, yeah, that's my take on that. But I'm sure you can make a case that he'd win. Yeah. And if Raikage, at what gate do you think he wins? Now, let me get something straight. He'd beat almost anybody in that form, almost anybody else besides the upper tier guys. Even people like Minato, I think he'd beat Itachi. He'd beat a lot of people. The eight gates gives you the ability to like really warp space, like, you know, warp space to like a pretty good extent. You know, when he was running on air, right? Guy was running on air. He was twisting space, you know, the air because he was going so fast. Um, it's arguable if Madara took him extremely serious at the time. Now, once he got hit, he was like, okay, I got to take him serious. But I don't know. That's a tough one. You know, this is one of those ones that is very ambiguous, very complex to break down. But I'm going to say Madara probably wins. The Raikage could definitely win. But I think Madara just has the hacks abilities to get it done, even with one eye. But that's a tough one, man. It's very, very, very difficult to put a finger on. And I'd probably have to look at it deeper. But for now, I'm going to say Madara. You could definitely make the case that Raikage could win in that form. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Moving on. We got boxing. All right. Boxing. Now there's a lot of good things happening. He was already amped with Lightning Cloak, so he wouldn't need to go 8th gate to be stronger than 8th gate guy. Yeah, I'd argue that 8th gate guy is stronger than the Raikage, but as far as durability, obviously it's very bad, right? You're dead. You're going to die if you use it, right? You're going to die. The only reason a guy didn't was because Naruto revived him with his 6 path abilities, right? So yeah, that's tough. That's a slippery slope. You know, it's a very slippery slope. But moving on to boxing. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. Gervonta Tank Davis, man. Now, I did a live stream to this. It was a fucking fight. He fought Mario Barrios for the WBA super lightweight title, right? It was a hell of a fight, hell of a night. You know, it was a great night of boxing. One of the best fights I've seen in a long time, right? Tank Davis was losing. To me, in my eyes, he was losing up until the 7th or 8th round, until obviously he dropped Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios is a tough guy. He got dropped many times and he kept getting up. Tough dude. Definitely a champion. You know, definitely worthy of being a world champion. But Tank got it done. He got it done. And he rallied. You know, he rallied, and one question was answered. His power does translate to 140. He went up 2 weight classes, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And his power was greater than Mario's, in my opinion. He had better power, better speed than Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios had the height, had the technique, had the game plan. But eventually he got caught. You know, he got caught. I feel like Gervonta was slowly building his way to that moment. And then boom, he caught him with a right hook, dropped him. And that was beginning of the end for Mario Barrios. So basically it was close, right? In the first half of the fight, it was close. I had Mario winning most rounds, though, in my opinion. But then momentum quickly shifted when Tank dropped him. That was the beginning of the end. But credit to Mario. He was very durable even after that. He fought with everything he had until the very end. Until the very, very end, actually. So shout out to him for that. All right, so that's that. So now this is relevant to what I just said. Ryan Garcia, right, called out Tank Davis on Twitter saying he wants to fight Gervonta before the end of the year, of this year, 2021. Now, here's my take on that. That's going to be hard to do because he's not in the limelight after pulling out against Javier Fortuna, right? That was his next fight. I believe it was supposed to happen this month, if I'm not mistaken. He pulled out because of anxiety, right? Mental issues. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. But the reality of the situation is that hurt his stocks, right? In the market, in boxing market. That hurt his stocks. Um, Now he's still a big name. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think Tank's going to be very willing to do that because Ryan's popularity has gone down. You know, Tank's a legitimate world superstar and a world champion, 3-time division champion. He's a beast. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think Ryan's going to have to fight someone that's formidable, maybe Devin Haney, win that fight, and then we could talk about Tank because he's not in position to, demand a fight, and I don't think he's in a position to win the fight. I don't think he's good enough to beat Tank. I think he has more development to do, technique wise. He has all the talent in the world, but he needs to really close those gaps and those holes in his game. Right. So that's my take on that. Now, this is some other news, and this is something that I kind of noticed. Errol Spence, as we all know, is facing Pacquiao, right? He's facing Manny Pacquiao soon, and people are counting him out. Now, not like saying he has no chance, but a lot of pros saying, man, he's going to have to step up, you know. And I know that's most of it's due to the respect that is given to Pacquiao because he is a champion and all-time great. But Errol Spence is a very good boxer. He too is very good. And I think it's going to be more competitive than people think. I think it's going to be close, and I think Errol Spence has a chance of winning this fight, no doubt. So we might be in for a surprise. Errol Spence might. I don't think he'll shock the world by winning, but he's going to surprise the world by winning if he wins, right? Now, I'm on the fence about this personally. It can go either way, in my opinion. Age is definitely a factor here. Pacquiao's not young. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's in his 40s, and that's significant. So to me, it goes either way. Now, he beat Keith Thurman, but it was a split decision. We got to keep that in mind. I thought he beat Keith, right? But it was a split decision. It was fairly close. But obviously, Pacquiao was the better fighter. So we'll see what happens there, man. I'm excited for that one. It's always a pleasure to see Pacquiao fight, excuse me. Next up, though, this is relevant enough to put in here. Now, as we all know, Lomachenko won his fight after his previous loss to Teofimo. He won this fight in pretty dominant fashion. He looked like a world beater. He's a beast. I really hope he gets the rematch with Teofimo. That would be good. But his father is actually training Alexander Usyk to fight Joshua. Now, I think Usyk and Lomachenko are close, so that's significant. I mean, his father obviously trained a world champion in Lomachenko, right? He's a beast. His footwork's phenomenal, and Usyk is very good himself. Joshua has a test. Now, I have some questions on Usyk's power and size and how he'll manage against a very big heavyweight in Joshua, but we'll find out, right? So we'll see what happens there. So they're fighting September 25th. That's going to be very interesting to see. I'm very, very hyped to see that one. But yeah, guys, that's my boxing segment. If you guys have any other questions about anything, it can be Naruto, YouTube, boxing, whatever the hell you guys want, I will definitely answer it. That's why I'm here. I like doing it live because I get to talk to you guys personally. So moving on, I'm going to quickly glance over this because this is big, in my opinion. The NBA. All right, we got the NBA. We had the conclusion of the Suns versus the Clippers last night. I saw the game. Chris Paul had a phenomenal performance against the Clippers, having 41 points, 19 points in the fourth quarter. And the Clippers choking. Paul George back to his old choking ways. He just doesn't have the consistency to be a champion, 1A player. It just doesn't seem like he has it in him. He always blows it. And he blew it again. So Chris Paul has a chance to really put a button on his legacy, another sticker on his legacy if he wins the ring. He's one of the greatest point guards of all time, one of the best assisters of all time, and he's a point god. He definitely deserves to have that name. Devin Booker has a chance to cement his legacy as a young rising star. Now they just wait for the conclusion of Atlanta versus Milwaukee. Now that one's interesting, right? With both star players out, Giannis and Trae Young. Giannis is out indefinitely in Game 5. Trae is out possibly in Game 5. It's day-to-day with him. Now, if Giannis is out, there's a good chance that the Hawks take it, especially if Trey plays, right? If Trey is, even remotely close to 100%. Now, my predictions for these finals is going to be Hawks Suns, and I had the Suns winning in 6. That's my prediction for the finals. Hopefully, I'm correct. Chris Paul, I think, really deserves a ring. Man, he's fought many times, and he just fell short. Now he finally gets his opportunity to cement his legacy, right? So we'll see what happens with that. So that's NBA, folks. I just want to quickly glance over that, give Chris Paul the respect that he deserves. Now, current events, folks. Now, this is where I say you can ask me anything. I'm just talking about current events that I think are relevant. Thank you for all that have watched the podcast, for all that are watching the recording podcast. I appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like button, turn on bell notifications, and of course, hit that sub button if you haven't already. If it's your first time seeing the channel, I have many, many types of content. UFC podcasts is like I'm doing right now, and live reactions, Naruto content for days. Go check that out. I have playlists for all of it. So moving on to current events. All right, so Bill Cosby. All right, Bill Cosby, as we all know, was convicted for things that he did many decades ago, but his conviction was overturned. Bill Cosby is now a free man, right, after some technicalities such as an unusable testimony used in court. It's quite strange why he's out, to be honest. I know there's a statute of limitations. He did these things decades ago, but he deserves to be punished, right? I think there's enough evidence to point to the fact, in my opinion. I'm not a fucking judge or a lawyer, but that's my opinion. But he's already an old man. Bill Cosby's an old man, 83, I believe, and his time is limited. His time is limited on this earth, and it's quite bizarre. It's a bizarre thing. I don't know what else to say about it. I just wanted to bring it up. It's just shocking to me that he's out of prison. I guess maybe part of the rationale here was that he's old anyways. He's gonna die anytime, to be honest. So maybe that's what it was. All right. So next up, I got NCAA college athletes now have the right to profit off their name and popularity from various methods of profit. Now, this is huge, folks. This is huge news. The NCAA for the longest wouldn't allow people like Zion Williamson, Reggie Bush, like the biggest names in college history, to make money off their huge name. So now these athletes have a chance to do so. And I think there should be various decisions overturned. For you guys in the YouTube space, I'm sure you guys know of the YouTuber Destroying, the athletic one, the kicker. He was, I believe, kicked off his team or something of that nature due to him making money off of YouTube. Now that guy should get some kind of some kind of reimbursement for that bullshit. You should have every right to make money off your name or off YouTube when you're a college athlete. I mean, that's fucking horseshit. I'm glad they finally opening their eyes to some extent. Hopefully, eventually, there is no holds bars, right? They can do whatever they want, make money however they want, legally, of course. But this is a big step for college athletes, and hopefully, they make some money. Bringing so much money to these huge university and college institutions, they should have the right to make some money off their name, their jersey, stuff like that. Hopefully, this is the first big step to doing so. This is big, very big. So hopefully that takes place. So that's that. Next up, this is my final piece of news, and I'll probably wrap it up if none of you have questions. So if you guys have any questions, please ask them now. Whatever it is, like I said, any topic, anything, I will answer. So GTA 6, right, was trending because of a leaker who apparently claimed that it would release in 2025, that it would take place in modern-day Vice City, and that it would be a self-evolving city in game time. So it was trending. There's tens of thousands of people talking about this because of this leaker. Now, I don't think I can confirm nor deny whether what he said was true, but I hope it's not true that it's coming out in 2025. That's a long fucking time. GTA 5 came out in 2013, I believe. That would be 12 years later. That's over a decade later. That's a long time. And if it does come out on that day, it better be damn good for all of us people. It better be very, very good. Big project. This is what I'm hoping. I'm on GTA 6. I'm hoping that it has several cities, like Vice City, Liberty City, Los Santos. I'm hoping it has various cities and maybe even a giant, the biggest map ever, right? It's going to be on PS5, obviously. I hope it's the biggest map ever that we've ever seen. I hope there's more things you can do. Like, again, like San Andreas, go to the gym. Remember when you used to be able to lift and build muscle? Hope you can do that again. Hope you can go into restaurants, more buildings, do more shit, make money other ways. There's a lot of things. I hope game is revolutionary, especially if he's taking 12 years. Hope GTA 6 is revolutionary. I hope it's one of the greatest games of all time because GTA 5 is. It was pretty revolutionary, right? With the all GTA Online, with the heists and the things still coming out to this day with the updates. But yeah, I'm very hyped about GTA 6. I hope it comes out sooner than later. Let me know what you guys think about it in the chat. I'm a big GTA fan. I've been a GTA fan since I was a little kid. Now, I know little kids shouldn't play GTA, but I was playing that shit on my PSP. I was playing Vice City, Liberty Stories, PS2. I've been playing it for a long, long time. I've been playing GTA 5 since it can't come out. I like to play with friends. It's just one of those games, man, that are legendary. It was pivotal in the Sony era, right? PS2, San Andreas, one of the greatest games to ever come out. GTA 5 is definitely in that tier, in that of that caliber. So praying for the best, praying for the best in this gaming time. I hope there's some really revolutionary games with the PS5, with technology quickly advancing. I'm hopeful. I personally don't have a PS5 yet. Other news, I guess only the people watching this will hear about this. I'm planning myself to start a Twitch, playing various games, maybe even with you guys. If you guys have a PS4, drop your PSN names in the chat or in the comments. I'm thinking of doing a Twitch soon with me and my boy Wildcat the Bold. You guys know who he is. I'm sure some of you even follow him on his own YouTube. He does great anime content. I'm thinking of doing a Twitch. I want to kind of keep gaming separate from this channel, unless many of you were to ask I do it on here. That's the only way I do it on here. Thinking of doing Fortnite, GTA, Naruto, of course, Ninja Storm 4. Or maybe I'll be raging and fighting people online. I still have a lot of training to do. Injustice 2. There's many games I want to play on. All right, man. I'll add you for sure, Tuba boy. But yeah, like I said, I'm planning on doing Twitch soon. Maybe very soon. Yeah, I got you. I'll definitely add you. And you guys are the first to hear it. You guys will be the only ones to hear it until I make it until I post the day that I start streaming. Right, I'll be on Twitch. I'll definitely make a post on the community tab with my stuff, my username and stuff like that. Possibly this week. I'm thinking of doing it this Saturday. Yeah, I got you, Tuba boy. Appreciate the PSN name. I'll definitely add you. But yeah, I'm thinking of doing that. I have other friends, and we're pretty explicit, so I don't want to be on YouTube and get like demonetized. So Twitch, I know, is a little bit more have more leeway, and so yeah, I definitely want to start that. I hope to get that going. Hopefully, you guys come on over and show us the support. We get pretty lit. We're pretty competitive as well, especially if we're talking shit online. We're definitely competitive. But yeah, that's the plan. But yeah, guys, I think that's all I got. If you guys have any other questions, let me know right now. I'll stay like 5 more minutes. I'll go till 3:10. It's 3:04 right now. 6 more minutes. I'll keep talking about. Let's see. I'll just bring up some random shit and let's get for 6 more minutes. It's all good. 6 more minutes. I'll be here unless you guys have more questions. So let's see. What can I think of right now? Shows. I'm gonna talk about shows for a second. Shows on Netflix, shows out there. Now, what I've noticed is the biggest shows. See, Tachi book. All right, I got you, man. The biggest shows that seem to do the best are crime shows. It seems that humans tend to gravitate, for sure. Humans tend to gravitate towards conflict and mystery and thrillers, right? And that's the reason why these shows and these horror movies are so popular, right? I think it's just part of our human psychology. We tend to to gravitate towards conflict. I think that has to do with our ability and our desire to survive, right? I think that just has to, now that we're in this first world country, right? At least in the U.S., Canada, UK, wherever you have first world conditions, you're so comfortable that your mind will gravitate towards other things. You have food, you have shelter, you have safety, right? So that's the reason why We tend to gravitate towards crime shows. We tend to gravitate towards all this fucked up shit because of that. Um, that's just the reality of human psychology, right? But also, I wanted to bring up movies coming out. There's some good movies coming out. Black Widow's coming out. That should be good. Definitely be watching that. I think it's Fast 9. Now, when it comes to that, they're kind of milking it a little bit. It's like it's over already. They're basically in fucking space at this point. Like, it's not even Fast and Furious, in my opinion. Now, I will watch it because I'm a fan of either way, but I'm not that excited for it. The best ones will always be 1 through 5, in my opinion, with 1 and 5 being the best. That's just my opinion. And there's some other movies. I believe there's a Purge movie coming out. I'm very excited for that one. The Purge, new Purge movie. I believe there's also, what other movie was there? I forgot, but yeah, The Purge. I'm very excited for. That should be very good. It's I gotta say, during COVID was a big time for shows and movies. I mean, when we had, and YouTube also, there was nothing to do. Right, we were locked in our homes all day, and all we could do is watch shows, watch YouTube, watch the movies. Hang out with each other, interact through online methods, and now we're going back to reality. You know, Speaking of COVID, it's starting to become a past chapter in world history. It will definitely be in world history for the rest of eternity, or at least the rest of world history. COVID will always be a significant event. It was world changing for a second. Last year was a very mysterious and stressful time for many individuals worldwide. I know there's certain places, such as India, that are still struggling to this day, but I'm glad that certain parts of the world are healing. The U.S., I'm sure UK, if I'm not mistaken, Canada, they're all healing up. Going back to reality. Um, but good things did happen during COVID. Now I know I wish it never happened. People hopefully, if we had the choice, no one should have died. Right? That's the optimal outcome that we always want. But a lot of things were learned. That the internet thrives. The internet will thrive, and the internet's a huge tool, man. Huge tool in today's world. This is the reason I'm able to talk to you guys. It's because of the internet. The reason why there's YouTubers. The reason why there is streamers. The reason why there is shows now. On streaming platforms, other shit now. So that's just reality. All right, two more minutes, folks. Unless you guys have other questions, and now I'll wrap it up on this podcast. But yeah, I want to thank you all. Thank you all for the support lately. I'm trying to become more versatile. I dropped a couple debates this week. I know. Hopefully, you guys saw that. I did one where I was involved in Itachi versus Minato, and then there was another one that my other friends were involved in. Is John Jones the GOAT? That's also interesting debate. I've made a playlist for both. I'm trying to give you guys things that are coming up real quick before I end this. Unless you guys have another question, let me know in the comments, in the chat. Other things coming up, there will be a live reaction to Connor versus Poirier, obviously. I'm doing a live reaction to that. I'll be doing a live reaction to Wilder versus Fury 3. That might be live streamed. I'm not sure yet. I'll let you guys know ahead of time. What else? So probably Pacquiao and Spence, possibly. I might possibly do a live reaction to that. I'm still deciding, because these pay-per-views add up as far as price, as far as money, But yeah, guys, that's my plans. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up. It's 3:10. If you guys have any questions, let me know right now. If not, it was a pleasure talking to the guys that came in. And thank you to all who watched. This has been episode 37. Let me know of any topics in the comments that you'd like me to discuss in the future. And by the way, come with your questions, folks, because if I do more lives, I want to answer your questions. Come with anything really. It can even be personal to some extent, not too personal. I'm not an idiot, but yeah, guys, gonna wrap it up. It's been a pleasure. I love you all. Thanks for all the support. More content will be coming soon, and I'll catch you in the next videos. Jay the Great signing out. Peace.